Welcome, everyone. My name is Stephen D. James. That's Canadian Skilled Truckers Accreditation. And we got a brand new video for you. I hope you'll enjoy it. Thank you.
Oh, midnight highway, shining just like sin. Why don't you hear me wonder?
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen James. This is my company right there, Canadian Skilled Truckers Accreditation. And we're here to discuss the difference between 2D and 3D. Yeah. Talk to you shortly. Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen James, and this is my company here, Canadian Skilled Truckers Alliance. That thing in the middle is called a Helix. That little gauge on there is, believe it or not, is an air gauge because for some strange reason or another, people don't know how to operate it. They don't understand it. Excuse me, and that's what we are here to do. We're here to fill a niche that the industry treats as a commodity, and we've had enough. I've been in the industry for 50 years. I was taken out recently by a heart attack. And the industry itself, decided that because I was only 20% above stopping, that I was a threat to society, and then degraded my license from disqualify my license from an AZ to a G. And so once the anger got done and over with, I decided that I wanted to do something because I still wanted to be involved with trucking. And this is my answer. And so now what's happening is that I am creating an accreditation board for the truck driver. All right. All those other groups that are inside the industry that have been around for a long time, they need to catch up to us. All right. We're not waiting for permission. We're not sitting there doing whatever we're doing because we look at a 2D linear line as being antiquated, out of date, and completely irrelevant to the industry. And in fact, because of it, we have the two cancers, Drivers Inc. and licensed mills. And we got 2D to thank for it. All right. Now, I will get in depth and into detail of how the 3D gets rid of each one of those two cancers. But at the same time, I'm going to sit there and say to those guys that have Drivers Inc., do it right, do it properly, buy your own truck, go to the CRA and get your business license, incorporate yourself, and get yourself into a better status than what you are. If the companies are telling you what to do, even though that's kind of what they still do, even though you have your own truck, you still have the big dictation. You can still dictate what you license, how many hours, the time you want to drive and all that sort of deal, where you want to go. And they don't tell you boo. All right. Period. They just give you the work that's involved. The rest is you. The licensing mills, as the AG reported, that's the Auditor General, she reported about you getting half of what you should know just on a basic minimum. Really? That's unbelievable. If people are only just getting half of what they should know on the basic minimum, wow, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. That's just how bad the industry has gotten under the 2D linear line. Now, if you want to know the difference between a 2D linear line and a 3D, all right, I'll show it to you. Right here is a railroad track. That is a 2D linear line. What you do is you will continually go around in a circle because this Earth is square. This Earth is round. All right. And what'll happen is any mistakes that you have done, you're going to continue to run around and you're going to run into them again and again and again. That's a 2D linear line. All right. The 3D heal. And what they do also is they grab a whole bunch of you and they put drivers together and they turn around and say, this is what you do to back up. This is what we do to make a left hand turn. This is what we do to make a right hand turn. Don't hit a telephone pole. Don't hit up cars, butt in, and get the delivery done. There's your license. Go to Vancouver and don't worry about the snow outside. You'll be just fine. That is a 2D linear line. All right. That's what the trucking industry has been following all this time and why they can continually run into problems. The 3D Helix is what we're working on, what I've spent 50 years in perfecting, and at the same time, 2,800 hours plus and counting in research and development to create this Helix. All right. So basically, what you do is you have a baseline and you have a master line. All right. A master platform. In the center, you have what is called a core. Inside that, around that core, you have what is called the 5 rungs of a pillar, all right, which is spatial awareness and a whole bunch of other stuff. They stabilize the helix, all right. They keep it from collapsing. Then you have what is called the spiral, the 26 benchmarks. They sit inside that helix. All right. Okay. Now, on a scorecard, what we do is we don't do 10 because then it gets complicated. We crow it down to 5. So the first 2 are where you're going to be. From the baseline to the first up to 3, all right, you're going to fail. There is no 2 ways around it. You go to 3, and that is your MTO base minimum of training. That's your 103.5 hours worth of training here in Ontario. You go to 5, that's your master. All right. 4 is the acceptable range for you to be able to get into a truck and do your drive from Toronto to Vancouver in the middle of a winter time, and you know what you're doing. All right. The 3D is on a 2D graphic, a 2D linear line. It is looking forward, and it's looking left, and it's looking right. All right. It's a little different on the screen, but this here's my right side. This here's my left side. It's a little weird, I got to admit. Okay, so what we're doing is we're putting depth into it. So if you've ever been to a mold injection place for a visit, they'll tell you that X, Y, and Z, all right, creates what is called a 3D model. So you now have something that we live in. We live in a 3D world. All right, so there's distance between me and the door right here. There's distance between me and the mic, distance between me and the screen. You know, that's what is called a spatial, oh, what the heck's its name now? A spatial appearance, I guess you'd want to call it. It's where you can gauge. Okay, when you're driving down the road, how that applies is you got your peripheral vision. Your peripheral vision will make a snapshot that something is out there. You need to physically look and make sure that you gauge in what is going on down that road. So when you're coming out to an intersection, you can sit there and watch and know that there's a vehicle coming. Where is he? Even if he's gone out of sight, there's some things, and sometimes you can actually see that vehicle coming if you know where to look. All right. And that's the whole idea behind the Helix. We want to get you to go from what I've learned for 50 years, okay, of living the life that everybody says you look straight, you look left and right. Now we're turning around and saying, take a look around the A pillar and see where you can find that guy. Look between the silos and the trees and see if you can find that guy and see what's going on. Get yourself prepared in case he runs a stop sign. Okay. Humboldt was exactly the accidents that we were predicting years and years ago was going to happen. And any veteran that's out there today will turn around and tell you that if you don't have spatial awareness, that's what it is. Okay, guarantee you, you will get yourself into a mess and position, bad one. And so what you're doing is instead of going 4 or 5 seconds, you're looking 15 seconds down the road. You're looking further down left and you're looking down right. And you're going up to an intersection knowing what's coming and what may not be coming. That's 3D graphic. All right. So 3D Helix pathway. All right. So a 2D is a railroad line that I'll put up on here. And I'll put a picture of the 3D Helix as well. And I'll explain it to you as we go along. But like you say, you got a core, which is you got a base. And that's the thing. You got the two bases, okay? One is the basic minimum. That's your master. You want to sit at 4 as a score of 5. Certain areas like that on our graphics right there on our logo, you see that air gauge. When I turn on CP24 and I see somebody stopped in the middle of the highway, and you know darn well that if they're broke down and they stopped, they didn't understand what that means, what that gauge means. And it's a simple little thing, but it's something that is so extremely important. You know, a lot of times we look at the some rules of the MTO that are hypocritical. I mean, they don't allow me to do a brake check or a brake adjustment unless I have a technical license to do one, but they still want me to check the slack adjuster, the travel of the push rod. Like, give me a break. Those guys, you need to sit there and look at the train. If you know what you're doing and you're doing a tug test and you spike it, you can see what's going on. All right. There's no reason why you can't go to your garage if your company has one and go get a brake adjustment. Do a quick check on it. Okay. To get rid of that opportunity. In 50 years, I think there was one time I crawled underneath the truck. The rest of the time I went off to a mechanic and they went underneath the truck. That's they pay them to do. All right. So understand that some of the stuff that's in trucking in the 2D linear line is hypocritical, and it, I enjoy AI. I really like AI. As long as you talk to it properly, it will give you answers that you can research and make sure that you've got the right correction analysis on something. And plus, you have your own experiences. I have 50 years to fall back on. Okay. So for me to sit there and use AI right now with my company is perfectly fine because I use it and I research it. And I make sure that we're factual on what we're saying. So when you look at the University YouTube and you get some guy that's making a left turn and you get some guy in the right lane that's supposed to go straight, but he makes a turn in front of you, the professional will turn around and let him go, let him carry on. He's on his way. And you make your turn. All right. That's the professional. When you sit there and you blast on your air horn because he's got you mad, okay, that's unprofessional. All right. And that's the whole idea behind the 3D Helix. The 2D is where you follow that line of hitting the air horn and getting told you're number one. Because that's eventually what's going to happen. My name is Stephen James. This is my company, Canadian Skilled Truckers Alliance accreditation, sorry. And we are going to change the system. We're going to change it from a 2D linear line to a 3D Helix pathway, okay? And I hope you will join us because I love this standard. This standard is what I've followed since I was 18 years old and I first started. That reminds me. Bill 60 allows an 18-year-old to go from a class a class G, driving a 3,000-pound car, up to an 80,000-pound rig. and you spend 10, 15, $20,000 to get licensed, and you got some help here and there, and we'll direct you properly on how to do that. The problem is that you get this money, you're going to sit, because a lot of insurance companies will tell you with zero experience, you're not getting a job, a properly good job. There are people that will hire you. Don't get me wrong, but guarantee you they'll treat you like dirt. All right. If you really want to sit there and do it, you can slide down the Helix. Okay, down that little right where it goes down. Okay, you can go down to the D, get a year's worth of that. We'll show you how to do that. And then once you get a year in, you get your experience, you can climb right back up and do an A. You got experience. The insurance companies will let you drive then. They'll tell the company he's okay. Let him go. All right. And then what we want to do is we want to get in contact with the companies and start bringing the old school trucking way back, the discipline and the respect that we had back then, and combine it with the way it is today. And that's where the Canadian Skilled Truckers Accreditation is. All right. I was only supposed to do this for about 15 minutes or 7 or 8 minutes, but to be honest with you, driving a truck and trying to show you and tell you the way to go things, it's going to last longer. Hopefully, we still got your attention. Thank you very much, and hopefully you have a little bit of an understanding of the difference between a 2D and a 3D. Like I said, I'll put pictures up and let you understand it just a little bit more. All right? In the meantime, protect your license. Don't let a company tell you what to do. They can tell you where to go, and you can do that job, but they can't dictate to you. If they yell at you, you have the right to yell back. That's just how it is. Okay? They don't treat you like dirt, period. They treat you with respect because you are a skilled specialist, all right? Don't let them talk to you like you're some kind of commodity, because you are not a commodity. They can't come up to you and tell you I can find a dozen of you, because the dozen that they can't find anymore, they're down that many. And you get enough drivers that all turn around and say, I ain't having you, I'll go somewhere else. All of a sudden they start changing their tune real quick. All right? Trust me. All right. So anyway, your family waiting for you to get home. Please be safe. Keep the shiny side up, the rubber side down. Remember, the speed limit is the speed limit. Yeah, most cops will let you go by just a bit quicker than that, and that's decent cops. But don't push it too much. All right? All right. I'll talk to you again. My name is Stephen James. This is my company, Canadian Skilled Truckers Accreditation, and we are changing the standard of trucking because it needs to change. It needs to change. Thank you. Goodbye. Be safe.